thoughts, feelings, attitudes, desires, images, fears, hopes, even doubts, your opinions, my opinions, your ambition, my ambition. Each of them constantly changing, sometimes from second to second. I don't know why. Each of them, or each of these elements of our personality, affects the others, sometimes in unpredictable ways. My entire life, or let me say your entire life, or our entire life, let us make it ours. Your entire life, our entire life, is the result of the intertwining and interconnecting of these factors. So let me make that clear again. So the feelings we have, the thoughts we have, the attitudes, the desires, the images, the fears, the hopes, the doubts, the opinions and ambitions, each of them constantly changing. Because today I might feel a way about something, and tomorrow I might not feel that way. And that is how it is. That is just the reality. Today you might be down, tomorrow you might be up. Today the sun might be out all day, tomorrow you don't see the sun at all. Today it might rain all day, and tomorrow the sun shines all day. So it is the interchanging. Things are constantly changing. The weather changes. You cannot determine the weather. It changes in an instant. That's all we are as well. But as a Bible-believing follower of the Christ, the righteousness of God, there is no changing with God. His righteousness never changes. So there is no changing in his course. What he has decreed, his righteousness, his truth endures to all generation. Yes. So even though I am, allowing you to understand, or we are understanding who we are and what we are. So these elements of our personality affects the others. Because sometimes in unpredictable ways. So our entire life is a result of the intertwining and interconnecting of these factors. Our thoughts, my thoughts, your thoughts, trigger images and pictures. Do you know that? When a thought comes in our head, in our mind, and we start to think about that thought, don't it brings up pictures? It brings up a certain situation. And if we're reading a book, or, we might be sitting and something just come to our mind and we snap our fingers. I'm like, wow. And it comes to my mind, it comes to your mind, it comes to my mind. I was like, oh. You start to relate it to some circumstances, some scenarios, that had happened before. So thoughts trigger images and pictures. Whether thoughts of seeing a girl naked, whether thoughts of seeing a man naked, whether thoughts of, good things, charitable things, whether thoughts of hate. You see it, you picture it. It becomes a picture, in the mind. So these images that is now formed in your mind, and emotions. And let me say, emotion goes with the pictures that you are forming in your mind. It goes with the images that are formed. Whether sad emotions, whether feeling of hatred, feeling of love, feeling inspired or motivated. Whenever you hear your favorite song or your favorite passage read from the scriptures, it goes with emotions, how you apply and how you relate to what? The image or picture. When you read the scriptures, when you read your favorite novel, when you read something, it creates a picture in your mind. your imagination, your thoughts, it becomes alive, because of the pictures and the images it comes with and the emotions that attach to them. You love that emotion, you love the way it makes you feel, so you continue to read that book. So I like the way it opens the mind and it opens my awareness. So I will continue to read it. And the more you continue to read something, the more that thought, the thought process now, all that comes with the way the book you read, the things that you continue to read, you are now going to experience a thought process of that thing. Every thought that comes will contribute to it. And so therefore, if you desire to start a business, as I can recall, one of the parables, and it is also a life principle of any person. He says, the Christ says, Yeshua, if any man desire to build a house, does he first go and buy the stuff and then build the house, and then the material runs out and you never budget properly, the material runs out, you don't have no more money to finish the work. He's saying that before you do all these things, proper planning must be put in place. You understand me? So this is what I'm saying. When you focus on something, when you desire something, all that comes with that desire is going to push you further. So if you start right, I guarantee that you will end up getting the desirable outcome that you want. So the images and emotions that trigger attitudes and actions, these images that comes in your mind, these emotions, they trigger an attitude, the reaction. For every cause there is a reaction, and every action there is a reaction. So your actions then have consequences and results. You see that determine what happens to you. So as Christ, Yeshua, was allowing you to understand, if a man is going to build a house, he first have to sit down and budget out how he's going to do this thing and plan it all the way through. You understand? Because once you get the thought in your mind that, wow, I'd like to have a very nice house, I'd like to pursue this young lady, I like this young man, so how can I have him pursue me? Am I being am I the wife type? Am I the virtuous woman? How can I be myself around this man so he can see that I am that lady for him? As a young man, you have to get your house in order. You have to ensure that you have an income. You have to ensure that you have plans regarding a family, or this young lady, because this young lady, she desires many things. She loves you, yes, but at the same time, if you love her, you're going to want to fulfill some desires. So this is what I'm saying. Your thoughts trigger images and pictures, and then emotion goes with it. And your actions, my actions, then have consequences and results that determine what happens to you. You understand what I'm saying? So for every action, once you make a step forward, there is no turning back. Now, our thoughts, or your thoughts, my thoughts, if we think about success and confidence, if we think about ways in which we can feel more confident about ourselves and being confident, and being successful in what we do or what we say, even to be successful about, being an upright or righteous person in the presence of God. If we think about being successful all the time, being the better person we want to be or ought to be, we're going to be that person. So if we constantly think about success and confidence, we will feel strong and competent, and we will perform better at whatever we attempt. I guarantee that. I am sure about that. If we constantly think about being successful in the right way, I'm not talking about doing wrong things now, or being successful in oppressing people and seducing people, or ripping off people, or being a menace to society, or being some agent of evil. I am talking about being successful, doing the right things, and being confident in doing the right things that uplift you and uplift someone else. That a young man or a young girl can take a page out of your book and read and say, this applies to me, and I'm going to use this as a motivation to be the best person that I can be. What is so more fulfilling to be a motivation or be an inspiration to society for the good? What is so much, what can be so more accomplishing or feel so more fulfilled? So if we think about success and confidence, we will feel competent and strong, and we will perform better at what we do. If you're going to do the right thing, you have to start out doing the right thing. And as the Christ taught us, Yeshua, that a tree that is good cannot bear bad fruits. At the beginning, it was a good seed. A good seed cannot spring forth up into a bad tree. You understand me? And then bear good fruits. A good seed spring forth into a good tree and bear good fruits. So that is what Yeshua was trying to say. Whatever you are, whoever you are, will come to the forefront, and we should know that our actions have consequences, and therefore, when the consequences come, the consequence will bring forth a result that determine what happens to us. Now, if we think about making mistakes or being embarrassed, we will perform poorly, no matter how good we really are. And sometimes we think about making mistakes by doing the right thing. So you know what we settle for? We settle for the less. We start to do what everyone else is doing. We start to act less than how we really see ourselves. So the easiest thing to catch is a bad attitude. The easiest thing to do these days is to promote immorality. The easiest thing to do right now in these days is to act like you don't have any sense. And then you will get a lot of attention. And so the persons now who desire to be of example and do the right thing, unfortunately finding it hard to do the right thing. No, how can you find it hard? If you think like that, that's a lower vibration. You don't need to lower your standards. If you lower your standards, that means anything can happen to you. The minute you lower your standards, if you're allowing what you see to affect you, the very minute you do that, then you're in trouble. So no matter how good we really are, if we think about making mistakes every time and being embarrassed by doing the right thing or saying the right thing, then you're setting up yourself for failure. Now, picture and images, from our imagination or from external influences. Let me say that. They produce ideas, they produce emotions, and they also produce attitudes. They contribute to the attitudes, that corresponds to them. So, if we think poorly and feel like we're going to be embarrassed in the face of adversity and temptation, and unfortunately allowing the external influence now to start to give us different ideas about who we are, it start to change our emotions, then our attitudes will change. So no more will we have the attitude of being confident and strong to accomplish what we set out to do. We start to allow external forces that is destructive to tear us down, And after that, when they tear us down, they trigger actions that bring about